See yourself as if you are this computer that uses the thinking mind to run all this hardware within you, so you can sustain yourself and live life. But the true you is physics, right? Kind of like that. Hello and welcome to Productively Mindful. My name is ailandas.sulcas and I talk about everything mindfulness and spirituality. I was pondering something today, same as I was talking about meditation and how it changed my life. And I'll link the video underneath here and in the top right hand corner so you can have a look at it. I wanted to talk about something else, which is the effect of thought on me. Because I don't know if I mentioned it in that video, which is why I want to touch upon it now. Or maybe if I did mention it, expand upon it. We oftentimes misunderstand the significance of thought. Not just from the positive point of view, not just from the beneficial point of view in terms of like how much benefit thinking brings us, because undeniably it does, but how much difficulty it brings us as well. Just think about, for the majority of us, it's going to be extremely applicable unless you don't have an internal dialogue. Might be a little bit different. I can't relate to that at all. I have no idea how people without an internal dialogue can think about things, imagine them. Maybe it's just in images. I don't know. If anybody knows what it's like, leave a comment and let me know. It would be very interesting to find out, especially if you practice mindfulness and spirituality and do meditation and whatnot. But for the majority of us, we have that perpetual chatter in our minds, and it's constantly going and going and going. Going and going and going. But because it's constantly going and going and going, it feels like it's normal, right? Because we don't know otherwise, unless you're brought up in a household that's highly into meditation, spirituality, mindfulness, trying to be aware of your emotions and senses and all that kind of stuff, all this deep introspective kind of shadow work. So unless you're brought up with that, the perpetual chatter in your mind is a very, very normal phenomenon. We consider that as thinking. But one thing to notice is that the perpetual chatter is never concerned about the now. It's always concerned about what the future is holding for us, or what has happened in the past that we should have approached differently. So then it takes that future prediction and tries to make it materialize in front of you by thinking it into existence, which is not going to happen. How many times have you tried to think an event, some sort of scenario or an outcome into existence? That is woo-woo. That is definitely woo-woo. But don't waste your time trying to do that. And there's a difference between that and manifestation as well. Imagine with your thinking mind, if your thinking mind was a friend that is constantly beside you and talking to you the exact same way as your internal chatter does when it starts going. If it ever stops, but when it starts going, right? Imagine if that was the case. Would you class that person as a friend? Answer that honestly. Would you class them as a friend? If they had such little filter, everything comes out of their mind that they think of. Everything. That would be quite a tough friendship to sustain, wouldn't it? When someone is that brutally honest, constantly repeating themselves, constantly worried about the future, constantly worried about the past. Man, that sounds tiring as hell. It is a very, very difficult practice to try and fully and truly not become the thoughts and just stay aware in the moment. Stay present, just aware enough so you can observe the thoughts. You cannot be 100% aware of everything and anything happening at every single moment, but you can build a neuroplasticity to become aware instantly of something that you should be aware of. The awareness that arises from our consciousness is instantly aware of everything that you're sensing in the moment, but your thinking mind has to reaffirm it. For example, if I look at the camera, I'm instantly aware of it, but as soon as it goes into your mind, the thinking mind is like, this is a camera, make sure you know this is a camera. So it has to reaffirm it as that voice in your head. That's what we called inefficient thinking. We're so used to having that perpetual chatter in our minds, reaffirm everything, sometimes even skew the information that we see in front of us to make it more comfortable and acceptable for the persona that we built throughout our lives, just to keep us safe, to keep us comfortable and keep us in place. It gets in our way a lot. It makes it very difficult to not become the thoughts. But it doesn't have to be anything complicated. In essence, all you have to do is just observe them. When you become aware of the thoughts that are arising, you create this duality within you that separates you from the thoughts. You become the awareness, and the thought becomes an object that materialized from the awareness within, from all the senses, from all the 5 senses that you have. Creating that duality is necessary to be able to understand that you are not the one that's thinking. Thoughts are a consequence of the thinking mind, but you are not it. You are the one that is aware of all of it happening. I know it's cliche, everybody says that. The thoughts are not what is aware of reality. The thoughts aren't what is experiencing reality. Thoughts don't consist of reality. You are reality because you are experiencing it. You are part of all of it. So one very important practice for somebody that wants to delve into spirituality is try not become the thoughts, because the thoughts are simply not you. You are the awareness that is aware that you are thinking. See yourself as if you are this computer that uses the thinking mind to run all this hardware within you, so you can sustain yourself and live life. But the true you is physics, right? Kind of like that. Physics are what allows the electricity to flow through the thinking mind, to allow it to use power, to allow all the binary systems work within the laptop, within the computer, or whatever it may be. You are physics. You are physics itself. The difficult part about not thinking, or I guess not becoming the thought, that's the more accurate way of saying it, not becoming the thought, is that you need to consciously think about not thinking to be able to separate yourself from the thought. So you, in essence, need to think more to create the habitual responses to a certain type of scenario that gives rise to thought. That perpetual chatter. I'm not talking about just normal thinking, like something happens in front of you and you think about it. I'm thinking about that time-traveling thinking, the one that's not efficient and just saps your energy, creates stress, anxiety, depression within you. I'm just talking about the perpetual chatter. Become aware of when it arises, but you'll have to think about becoming aware of the thoughts, the perpetual chatter arising. So the more you do it, the better you will become. You will build that neuroplasticity and it will become a habit. It will become automatic. And when it's automatic, you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's when it becomes a lot easier to actually separate yourselves from the perpetual chatter. That's the sort of duality you want to think about, because that is the sort of duality that is necessary for you to be associated more strongly with awareness, of presence, of acceptance, to be able to just not care about the thinking mind. When the perpetual chatter arises, you just don't care. It doesn't bother you. You allow it to be. You observe it as an object that just came into existence, same as everything else that you observe and sense in this reality is in existence because you can sense it. Otherwise, none of these objects have a thing called color. None of those objects have a sense of feeling. None of these objects emit sound. It's all our perception. Same as thoughts. they don't have any substance. It's just a perception. Unfortunately, it affects us very strongly. Hopefully this video helps. If you need more help in terms of your spirituality and mindfulness practice, I offer a free 1-hour call that you can find in the link tree below the video. It's completely free, no strings attached. We'll have a chat for an hour, and I'll see how I can help you on your journey, overcome whatever obstacles you have in this beautiful journey of spirituality and mindfulness. All of the other links are going to be there. There's also a Discord community that I'm running. If you want to join, it's completely free, where we help each other grow as spiritual and mindful practitioners. Thank you for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, please click like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment, let's have a discussion underneath. If you agree, if you don't, or disagree, I'm always happy to learn more. This has been ailandas.sulcas from Productively Mindful. I love you all, and I will speak to you next week. Is not correct, I think, more often than weekly, so I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.